Traveling is gaining immense popularity worldwide as it provides the opportunity to discover oneself, unwind from the busy work life, find love, and create unforgettable memories during vacations with family. One of the countries inhabited by tourists is Italy, a place that can capture your heart and make you never want to leave. The number of tourists visiting Italy in 2022 increased by over 40%, reaching 112.3 million. Especially remarkable considering it was after the coronavirus epidemic. Italy is a Mediterranean country in southern Europe with a long coastline that has a significant influence on Western culture and cuisine. Within its capital, Rome, lies the Vatican City, along with world-renowned museums and ancient ruins. Other major cities in Italy include Florence, where you can marvel at Renaissance masterpieces such as Michelangelo's Statue of David, and the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, designed by architect Brunelleschi. The fashion capital Milan, and Venice, famously known as the City of Canals. A vast number of people come to Italy to taste authentic Italian pizza, savor delicious and elegant carbonara, and join the crowds in marveling at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Millions of visitors flock to Italy for shopping, as it is the home of luxury world-renowned brands like Bulgari, Versace, Gucci, Prada, and more. Famous personalities worldwide wear clothing from Italian courtiers. Beneath the vibrant facade of Italian life, one can see this thriving tourist reality. However, behind the lenses of mobile cameras and the doors of family pizzerias, Italy's life is shrouded in local mafia complexities. As is often the case with criminal organizations, their primary activities revolve around drug trafficking and the narcotics industry. The number of such groups, known as clans in Italy, amounts to dozens, but three of the largest clans stand out: Cosa Nostra, Camorra, and 'Ndrangheta. All these family clans originate from the mountainous region of Locride in Calabria and belong to one mafia syndicate, bound together by unwavering loyalty. It is nearly impossible for undercover operatives or criminal competitors to infiltrate their ranks. 'Ndrangheta is the most powerful and influential among them, while also being the youngest compared to Camorra and Cosa Nostra. The city of Reggio Calabria is the stronghold of 'Ndrangheta. According to reports from Italian organizations combating the mafia, there are a total of 73 Ndrine operating in Reggio Calabria, with 136 in the entire region. 'Ndrina is the smallest unit of 'Ndrangheta, its core, its atom. It usually consists of members from one family and possesses a certain degree of independence. Each 'Ndrina controls a specific territory, and it is led by a capobastuni. Interestingly, even a woman can assume this role, but only if her husband, the capobastuni, has been killed or arrested. These small criminal atoms, the 'Ndrine, have infiltrated not only all Italian regions, but also the countries where Italian immigrants flowed, primarily Canada, Australia, and Germany. 'Ndrangheta operates both in illegal activities such as drug trafficking, particularly as the largest cocaine importer in Europe, nuclear material trade, and illegal capital movements, as well as in legal sectors like construction, restaurants, and retail. Opinions suggest that unlike other Italian mafia clans, 'Ndrangheta, which carefully avoids direct confrontation with authorities, has become a truly global organization by the 2000s, comparable to an international corporation. Several key figures within the organization have been arrested over the years, including Pasquale Condello, the 57-year-old head of 'Ndrangheta, who was captured in February 2008. Other notable arrests involve Giuseppe Nerta Jr. in the Netherlands in November 2008, and Giovanni Strangio, 30 years old, in the same country in March 2009. Both were suspected of organizing a mass murder in Duisburg in August 2007, where 6 Italians between the ages of 16 and 39 were found dead in 2 cars. Police believed the killings resulted from a conflict between the Nerta Strangio and Pelle Volteri criminal clans, who had been at odds since 1991.
I am the daughter of Salvatore Pesca. I belong to the mafia family of Rosarno. Until 2010, I lived in Rosarno. I led a normal life. I was married. I had 3 children. I had a job. I always worked in my father's companies, supermarkets, clothes shops, or in my father-in-law's business. We women, our role was to help the men, to support them when they were in prison, to visit them, and if it was necessary, pass information on to the mafia outside, to the brothers, the bosses of the clans. Even if you know it's a crime, you do it. My son had already been conditioned, like the others. He would also have had a future in the mafia. That's how it works. At 18, they would have given him a gun. I wanted something different for him to study. But no, he can't study. Why should he study? He will do what his father did, what his uncle did. I was against that, of course, but in the end, they are the ones who are in charge, not us. My children were out there, alone, without me. I would probably have been inside for years. Time would have passed, and they would still have been there. I needed to protect them.
Luigi Bonaventura, a former member of 'Ndrangheta, once said, "'Ndrangheta has penetrated everywhere, but its head remains in the province of Reggio Calabria, where it was born. The real strength of 'Ndrangheta lies in its ability to adapt. Just 2 or 3 people are enough to form an 'Ndrina. Initially, they will have a certain degree of autonomy. They can try different criminal or business models, join forces with local criminals, choose their development strategy. But once the business gains momentum, there will be nowhere to run." Italian mafia clans like Cosa Nostra, Camorra, and 'Ndrangheta have decided to unite and monopolize the drug market in the country. According to law enforcement agencies, this alliance is expected to be formed as early as 2008. The Italian authorities are constantly combating drug trafficking in Italy, and arrests of 'Ndrangheta leaders and other mafia clans occur regularly. However, as you may understand, the dynamics within Italian mafia clans are quite different, and even a seemingly minor figure with colossal ideas can play into the clan's favor and lead to the growth of their so-called family.
When I first started, this is how it happened. They made a cut in my left hand, and the bosses. We were united with our blood, swearing never to betray our honorable society, our clan. You always have to obey the boss's orders. He was the one who baptized me. He's the only one in command. The only one. This is the Rose of the Winds. It signifies that the 'Ndrangheta is present all over the world. The 'Ndrangheta is a seed which we sow in all winds. All over the whole world there are accomplices, representatives. The butterfly means that you must remain humble, like a butterfly. Not shy, but never arrogant. There it says, "As long as I live, I shall not fall in the mud." That means I will never dishonor. It means that I'll never betray.
Milan has been labeled as the capital of drugs in Italy. Over the past few years, Italy, like Europe, has been flooded with drugs. Currently, there has been a significant increase in the number of people using drugs occasionally or recreationally compared to those already suffering from drug addiction, said Riccardo Gatti, a representative of the Health Committee of Milan, during a conference. The research showed that around 150,000 residents of Milan used drugs in 2007. The main group of consumers was between 15 and 24 years old. Researchers noted an increasing interest among young people in drugs, such as heroin and ecstasy. Italy's problems are not limited to drug trafficking, but also involve illicit substances within the country. According to the Global Drug Survey 2019, Italy ranked second in the world in terms of cocaine consumption. The survey involved more than 120,000 people from over 35 countries. Over 4,000 Italians were asked how many days they used cocaine in the past year, and the results revealed that Italy ranked second, with an average of 10 days. This figure almost doubled the global average of 6 days, indicating that on average, cocaine was used in Italy nearly once a month. Reports indicate that 64.6% of the 4,105 surveyed Italians who use cocaine expressed a desire to consume it less, making them the most conflicted population in the survey regarding drug use. However, despite this conflict, the European Drug Report 2019 showed an increase in the number of cocaine users seeking treatment in Italy since 2014.
I was cooking drugs for them.
Cooking the drugs? What sort of drugs?
It's called crack cocaine. I feel pressure because I don't have any job to do. Some people who know me, they are calling me to do it for them. I refuse because I don't want to do it again.
The person at the top, were they African or Italian?
It was always an Italian. As a foreigner, you don't get to commit high crimes like he was born here. It's his country.
The issue and advantage for Italy lie in being a popular tourist destination. The government constantly seeks ways to better satisfy the needs of indulged travelers, bolstering the country's treasury through tourism, without necessarily addressing more severe problems. The concern is that Italy is a very open country that constantly welcomes millions of people. And the worst part is that among these millions, thousands of individuals may inadvertently fall into addiction just by being in bad company. And treating this addiction can be quite challenging. Despite the government's focus on tourism, the Italian Ministry of Health is aware of this problem and endeavors to address it in the best way possible. There are various specialized drug treatment centers in Italy. One such clinic, honored with a Certificate of Excellence from the Italian National Health Service, was founded in 1963 and has over 50 years of experience in treating addictions and depression. The treatment approach at this clinic is based on a therapeutic continuum, addiction treatment that consists of several different and progressive phases, starting from initial detoxification to subsequent rehabilitation with a final follow-up program. Treatment process. Stage 1. Detoxification phase. During this stage, the patient eliminates toxins from the body, and they receive assistance in dealing with the physical complications of withdrawal. This phase is crucial, as it may be the first time in many years that the patient experiences life without using any drugs. It is essential for the patient to feel safe, supported, and understood during this critical stage. Stage 2. Rehabilitation stage. In this stage, parents receive daily psychiatric and psychological support to address their insecurities socially and psychologically. They work on improving their self-esteem to eliminate any desire to use in the future. Motivational interventions and therapy are conducted in both group and individual therapy sessions. Group therapy helps patients understand and confront their emotional issues while providing support throughout the counseling process. This helps the patient acknowledge their dependency and develop a treatment plan to maintain sobriety, enabling them to lead a clean and positive life. In addition to formal therapy, clients are encouraged to get in shape and learn new skills that enhance their lives. By adopting a well-rounded, healthy lifestyle during their stay, they can sustain it long after the treatment ends.
I don't know. I think that drugs and alcohol always held the promise of different than what I was. For example, if I am the color yellow one day, drugs hold the promise of me not being yellow. The next day, if I'm the color red, drugs hold the promise potentially of me being yellow. It's a total illusion what drugs are going to give you and what alcohol is going to promise you. It was like being in a new world where the rules were completely different. The cast of characters changed. First of all, we stayed up for days and days. And by days, I mean like 5 days was not unusual. So we're sleep deprived. And when we stay up for that long, I mean that I'm just drinking and consuming drugs. Everything about me moved differently, and my brain started working differently. My words came out differently. My posture was different. My eye contact was different. It was like I was morphing into, and it wasn't just a transitional different person, it was a different person. I don't even know how any of us survived, to be honest with you. For me, I didn't get sober from a treatment center. Like I tried, I did everything that was asked, but I was miserable, and I developed an eating disorder at the last treatment center that I was at. I came back to Toronto and I met with the woman I had met with before. She said to me, I can't help you. Like, you're getting worse. You know, you're gonna have to come back to me when you have some willingness. And I thought, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, what is she talking about? I'm willing, I went to treatment. How much more willing can you get? And then I went out and got drunk and got hit by a car. Then I realized I'm in like big trouble. You know, I'm going to die. There is just not even a question. There is no magic formula. It is desperation and it's willingness. There's a solution. And remember, this is my opinion based on my experience. Like, I can't be disingenuous and say that there are other ways. For me, there are no other ways. I tried all of them. And I think of the 12 steps as sort of the last house on the block. Like, the 12 steps, they help you to a spiritual solution. I had the baby when I was, I guess, 4 years sober. And the gift of sobriety with my baby is that I get to be really actually here. You know, not all the time perfectly, but here in a way that I think even some normal people don't have the ability to be, only because when you have the experience of the active addiction and a brush with death and that kind of thing, I think that it gives you an appreciation for life.
Yes, the country's government acknowledges the problem and is trying to address it. However, it's worth noting that for a long time, the minimum punishment for drug distribution and use was not severe enough, only 3 years in prison plus a fine of 1,000 euros. It was only in 2022 that the government increased the minimum punishment to 6 years in prison and a fine of 10,000 euros. However, the country's problem does not lie in the lack of harsh penalties, but in the government's focus on entirely different objectives. Yes, they seem to address the issues with addicted citizens by treating them in professional clinics, but not everyone can afford such treatment. Yes, they fight against drug clans, but unfortunately, the number of apprehended criminals is a drop in the ocean compared to the number of clan families. Yes, they pretend to care and worry about the situation, but their methods of combat are comparable to waving a stick to create wind.
Subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon to receive notifications. There's much more interesting content ahead. Until next time, take care of yourself.